Welcome to the Steve and Bethany podcast.
It's your weekly dose of hope, encouragement, and a whole lot of fun.
All right, let's get to it.
It's episode 4.
Okay, welcome into the Hopecast, everybody. It's Steve and Bethany, and we're going to start out talking about something that neither one of us really wanted to do.
Well, because I think we both feel so inadequate to be talking about this. It's one of those topics where, you know, neither one of us want to say the wrong thing, and I think we both feel like we will, and so it's kind of an intimidating topic.
It's absolutely intimidating, but we're going to try to navigate this as best we can. What we want to talk about is what we've learned, or maybe more to the point, what I've learned. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you in the whole George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
And I know that's very tricky, and especially to white people talking about it and the whole thing. But here's the thing I have found out that words mean things, and words really can help and really can inspire and really can just show that you're in it with somebody.
Yeah.
And I came to a full realization for me, and I'll get your story here in just a second. But for me, what happened was I was on the radio, and I was thinking and debating, wrestling in my head. Do I want to say something? Do I not?
How do you word it? Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it, so you got to say something, right? And you know, from working with me, I had something else scheduled, and like 20 seconds left in a song, I'm like, I got to say something about this.
You pulled a classic Steve Marston and switched it up, yeah.
I did. So I opened the mic without really anything in my mind is what I wanted to say. I just started kind of shooting from the hip, and I talked about how heartsick I was for his family, for the whole situation, for my white friends that are police officers and law enforcement agents who I know his job just got 1,000 times harder, justifiably so, because a black person, an African-American person, is going to look at them with a little more suspicion now, especially males.
Because of one horrible decision from a police officer,
And so I know how much tougher that made their lives.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, man, I don't know what to say. And I just kind of went on for a couple of minutes talking about it. And I'm sure every radio consultant's head exploded because I didn't know what I was going to say, how I was going to say it, how I was going to get out of it.
Right.
And I closed the mic and moved on and didn't really think too much more about it. Well, about, 10 minutes or so later, I got a call from an African-American man. And he was just like, I'm so thankful for what you said. And I was like, my first question was, are you sure he was listening to me?
Well, and also, what did I say?
Yeah, right. You know, And that did cross my mind too. And he said, I hope it goes viral. I really appreciate how you said that. And I thought, no, I didn't really do much. And so I thought, okay, that's a one-off. Well, across the hall from where I work is a urban gospel station.
Right.
And the morning guy there and myself have become really good friends over the last few weeks. And he and I were talking about it. And the last thing he kind of said to me was just, hey, keep on grinding. And I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that happened was I posted a picture on our Facebook page, the radio station's Facebook page, of a police officer who's retired for like 30 years on the force. And he wrote a nice little Facebook post about his disgust with what happened, about it doesn't, justify any of the looting, but how he stands with the African-American community in this whole thing, and how he never trained his officers to do that.
Right.
He always, and I love the line he said, I never trained my officers to do anything more than treat people the way they wanted to be treated, no matter how they were being treated by them, right? So I thought that was really good. So I had another African-American person text me and say, thank you for posting that. And slowly it started to dawn on me, because I'm pretty thick-headed, I guess, that at least those African-Americans, I don't want to speak for all, but for those particular
ones that reached out to you.
The ones that reached out to me just wanted me to acknowledge what happened.
Yeah.
Just wanted me to say, hey, man, I get it. I don't know how to express myself other than I'm standing with you.
Yeah.
And it really kind of dawned on me that I haven't really done that. Not because I didn't think it was horrible, and not because I didn't really talk about it with other people, but I never was really out front with it too much because I was so scared of saying the wrong thing.
Well, and I saw something posted on social media that, nobody wins in the comment section. And I think that's a really good point. So often it feels like you don't want to post something or you don't want to really speak out on it publicly on social media because it's just going to cause this big debate, or people are going to say things in the comment section, or you might, have some conflict.
Your tone would be taken wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And so that is kind of a hard place to find yourself in, of wanting to say what you think and maybe wanting to share about the different conversations that you've had personally, but not knowing how to word it on social media.
And the last thing I wanted to do was come off like, well, I'm down with the struggle, brother.
Yeah,
I know exactly. That's
because
insulting.
We're not.
Of course not.
No.
That's insulting. And I wanted to stay away from that at all costs.
Right.
But I guess that's the thing I've learned the most is that just being kind of there and just standing up. Hey, I'm with you. I don't understand. I can't put myself in your shoes. It'd be silly to say I could.
Yeah.
But man, it's wrong, and I stand with you.
I think what I've learned too is that the most important thing that we can do, and my father-in-law said something the other day that I thought was really wise. He said, it's times like these where we need to be slow to speak and very quick to listen. And that really stuck out to me. I thought so often we are so ready to bring our own life experiences to the front of the table.
That's a good point.
And just, right out front. And there's a lot of things that you and I are never going to understand. That's right. And we just need to kind of admit that. I think it's so important that we look to people that are different from us or have a different upbringing, no matter what they look like, and just sit down with them and have a cup of coffee and say, tell me your story. Tell me your experiences. What was your upbringing like? What's your spiritual background? Where are you at? And most importantly, talk about the gospel, because that's the thing that is going to change hearts and unite people and bring people together, is understanding that we are all made in the image of God. Jesus loves everybody the same. There's no difference there. And we need to start to understand that our differences are not something that needs to divide people. It's something that we can learn from each other about, Yeah,
it makes me think of that verse in Ephesians. We're not fighting against flesh and blood.
Right.
We so many times want to do that, and it's not what it's about. It's a heart issue. At the very root of everything, it's a sin problem.
Right.
And the only person that can deal with a sin problem is Jesus.
Right.
And people need Jesus more than they need anything else. We want to cure racism. People need Jesus.
Right. And that's the thing that I thought of, when the video came out, and of course, so many of my friends posting different things on social media. The thing that I thought is, sin manifests itself in a lot of different ways. This is one example, but it comes out in all kinds of different facets and different areas. Sin and evil come out in a lot of different ways. And kind of like what you said, just to repeat that, of the thing that's going to change that is Jesus. It's starting conversations and being honest and hearing other people's experiences and learning from them. And then being willing to say, this conversation might be a little hard, or it might be uncomfortable, or I might have to admit what I've done wrong or ways that I've failed, but let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had to do that. That was very hard for me to admit that I had been that kind of thick-headed before.
Right.
It really was. So yeah, I think you're right. And I think the only other thing I could add to it would be, we got to pray.
Right.
We just really got to pray. Lift these people up, lift the situations up, with whether they're protesters, whether they're police officers, just the whole thing. It just needs to be continually brought before the Father.
And of course, pray just for comfort for George Floyd's family and the countless other people that have become victims in these kinds of situations. Pray for reconciliation in family members, in police officers, in our communities. Just pray for reconciliation and unity there.
Right on.
All right, so I did it again. I got my husband roped into something.
Oh, really?
And I've realized this about myself. I do kind of have the tendency to get him involved in different things that he's not necessarily thrilled about. But here's what happened. So Bob Lepine, our good friend from Family Life, we love him. He's wonderful. He is doing a book, or he's written a book all about 1 Corinthians 13, so the love chapter, talking about the different attributes of love. And there's a video series that goes along with it. So when families and couples and small groups do it, they can watch a video. So I get a text message saying, hey, would you and your husband Cody like to be a part of this video series? We need young people. That was the information that I got, okay? In my head,
qualified.
Yeah. in my head, I thought that meant like we're going to have to sit in the background and like pretend like we're drinking coffee, like extras or something. That's what I thought. Well, no. It was so much more than I bargained for. And I did text Cody. I asked him, I said, do you want to be a part of this? It doesn't sound like it'll be that big of a deal. And he was like, all right.
That's the kiss of death.
Yeah,
right there. He's going to learn to run from that text from now on.
So I get an email and it's like, I quickly realized they want to interview me and Cody and like have us talk about our marriage.
Really?
Well, we haven't even been married 2 years at this point. Like we've been married about 18 months right now. So I don't feel necessarily like qualified to give marriage advice or like talk about our marriage because we haven't had enough like struggle and problems or anything to share. And so that was my first thought. I thought, okay, no way. We're totally underqualified for this. But we had already said that we were going to do it. And so we just said, like, all right.
Here's the thing I know about Cody, and I don't know him well.
Yeah.
I know this is not down his alley at all.
Not even in the same school zone, like at all. He's pretty quiet. He's really laid back.
Very smart IT guy.
Yeah, and loves to be in the background.
Yeah.
He loves to serve. He loves to just help people, but kind of from behind the scenes. And so, so the text that I got was, we think you and Cody would be good for this because we know how good you are on camera. Speaking of me, and Cody goes, "Do they know how bad I am on camera? I don't want to be a part of this. They're gonna find out. Yeah. So we got roped into this, and I felt bad. I knew Cody wasn't really looking forward to it, but he was really a good sport about it. He said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's put our best foot forward. We're going to do a good job. So they had us, think of different stories in our marriage and ask different questions and things. And so we get to the video shoot, and of course, all the folks over at Family Life are total professionals. And so they make you feel right at home, and it's really comfortable. But they started asking us all these different questions, and they had like a rapid fire round where they
really
they said, who's a better cook, who's a better driver.
Don't give away spoilers.
Sorry, no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But this was the thing. At the very end of the rapid fire round, they're like, who's more generous? And we had to point to who we thought it was. Well, Cody. Who's kinder? Probably Cody. Who's more patient? Cody. Who's more humble? Cody. So he was getting all these good attributes, and I got nothing. I said, I'm a better cook and I'm more thrifty. That's what I got. Like, it was nothing. Oh, it was so embarrassing.
So when does this video series come out? Do we know?
I don't know. I did hear, though, after we got our little segment all filmed, they said that they would like splice it together and then send it to us so we could just see our parts.
What we got to do is we got to convince them to let us put that on Patreon.
I'll ask them if it's okay.
No. We have to sell. We have to make this work. We're trying to grow the podcast.
All right. Well, I'll see what strings I can pull.
Put your salesman hat on. But no, seriously, that's great.
Well,
we'll look forward to that.
And I got to say, in all seriousness, Cody did a really great job. I give him a hard time about, being kind of like, oh, come on, I don't want to do this. But he totally rose to the occasion and killed it.
And outshined you.
Oh, completely. He talked more than I did. He did an awesome job, really just spoke from his heart. And so I really appreciated the job that he did. He did great. All right. So if you've been listening to the podcast for the past couple episodes, you know that our house got a little bit more crowded. My brother and my sister-in-law, they lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, decided to move down here just to be closer to family and just be, closer with everybody. So they moved down here middle of last week, and the timing of them selling their house and then trying to find a house down here wasn't really going to work. So they're living with us for the time being. And it's my brother, my sister-in-law, their little boy, Rhett, he's almost a year old, and then their dog moving in with me, my husband, and our dog.
I mean, 3-bedroom house?
Yeah. So it's been a little bit tight, but it's been good.
It's been a little bit tight.
Been a little tight, yeah. But no, it's been really, really great so far. I have to say, my brother and my sister-in-law are incredibly laid back, and so that's been really nice. They're just kind of easygoing, and I don't know if anybody knows this about me. I am easily bribed by food, really easily won over, and so my brother is a chef, and so the trade-off was, if you're gonna live here, just cook, like make dinner,
man,
which he's gonna be doing anyways. And so he's like, yeah, sure, I'll make some for you and Cody. And so yeah, he's been making dinner every night.
He needs to make some stuff for the studio on taping days.
That's a great idea. You just need to have lunch. Would that bug people listening if we're eating while we're talking?
Wouldn't bug me.
It'd probably annoy me.
No.
I don't like mouth noises.
So, okay, now we've talked about the human aspect of that, but you
Right.
also said that you have 2 dogs, one from each family.
Right.
So, how is that going along? Because we all know that can be hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. That was, I think, probably the thing I was a little bit nervous about, just because our dog Gus is a miniature dachshund. He's never really been around other dogs before, and he's definitely never been around a baby before. And so every time my nephew Rhett cries, Gus kind of is like, that's a noise I haven't heard in this house. Like, what's going on? But no, they're actually pretty good friends. Their dog and our dog, they've kind of become little buddies. Gus has definitely established that he is the alpha, even though he's like 8 pounds.
See, he's
established dominance.
He has to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like the little man syndrome.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
It's the little dog syndrome.
He wants to be a greyhound. That's his personality. But
he thinks that he is.
No, but I have to show you. Okay, so there has been a little bit of a hiccup. They couldn't find Rhett's little binky. Gus had it.
Wow.
Can you see that? So it somehow got into the yard. I guess it fell down and Gus grabbed it. And then he's got it in his mouth the right way. That's the thing.
I see that. Now, okay, here's the question for the mom, Heidi.
Yeah.
Does she freak out? Does that go to the trash can and whole new binky?
No.
Or do you sanitize and start again?
She sanitizes and starts
Good for
over.
her.
She's
Good
like,
for her.
A little germs never hurt anybody.
There you go. That's
it's okay.
That's my girl.
She's pretty laid back.
High five to Heidi.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so for as long as I have known Steve, which is like going on 4 years now, you have always wanted to use a certain sound effect. And for those of you that are watching the podcast now, you can see that we have a little soundboard in front of us.
Yeah.
These buttons here have different sound effects on them. And so whatever button we hit has a different sound effect. And when we were back doing the radio show a million years ago, you decided...
We had a little feature.
Yeah, you decided anytime we got any kind of question or fan mail or anything like that, you wanted to use the little, what is it? We Just
Blue's
Got
Clues.
a Letter song from Blue's Clues.
Yes.
I was against this from the start, but I put up with it because you do a little dance every time it plays. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like this.
Well, it's kind of like a Cabbage Patch, but it's
slow
Steve.
Cabbage
It's
Patch.
Steve from Blue's Clues. It's his
I thought it was
dance.
original with you. It's not.
Well, I don't want to take all the credit.
You put your own little spin on it.
We're bringing it back, baby.
We just got a letter.
It's not.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter.
I did not go
wonder
into
who
this.
it's from.
I didn't go into this willingly. It was all Steve's idea. But we did get our very first letter.
We did, and I have it right here in my fingertips here, and it comes from John in Midlothian, Texas.
Midlothian, Texas.
Yes, Midlothian. Do you know where Midlothian, Texas is, Bethany?
I do not. Midlothian, Texas. I'm gonna say it's like south of Dallas.
All right, hey Jarvis.
Yep.
What about you? Where is Midlothian, Texas?
It's definitely a mythical place.
It's a mythical place. I don't know.
No,
I'm saying south of Dallas.
it's actually in the Metroplex of Dallas.
is?
It is. Congratulations. Very good on your part.
Yeah.
All right, John wants to know, why does Steve use at closing Goodnight Olive Branch? Do you remember why I do that?
I actually don't. You just started doing that, and I just kind of went with it.
I did. And the reason
with the
why,
flow.
well, the reason why is we actually had a first incarnation of this podcast. We only
Right.
did like 6 episodes or so.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So the very first person that downloaded our episode
Okay.
was from Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Olive Branch,
which I had
Mississippi.
no idea where that is. We
I
don't know
completely
people.
forgot about this.
We don't know people in Olive Branch.
No.
So it was just a stunner to us that was the very first download we
I
had.
completely forgot about this, but then I think you were kind of inspired by like the Waltons, where they're like, "Good night, John Boy." You were just like, "Good night, Olive Branch."
Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. I completely forgot about that. I thought it was from like a TV show.
Nope.
I thought it wasn't original.
No. See, it is. Isn't that good? Isn't it
Man.
good? So there you go. There is your answer.
Well, we
so
all
if you would
learned
like
something.
If you would like to email us a question, you can do that at SteveandBethany@outlook.com, or you can leave us a question on Facebook. We'd love to,
Instagram,
any of those. We'd love to answer your questions. But there you go.
Now we know.
That is why we
You
say,
were throwing away his letter.
well, then we're just getting rid of it. It's done. It served
gonna
its
put it in the
purpose. Thank
filing
you,
cabinet.
John. But
Thanks, John.
It's a very, very nice letter. So I think with that, we're done for the day.
And there's really only one thing to say, Steve.
That's exactly right. Good night, Olive Branch.